For our first topic, we are going to focus on the economic freefall caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. And joining us in the studio, 6 feet away, is Tony Barrett, an economics professor emeritus from the College of St. Scholastica. And Tony, thank you for coming in. You were here 3 months ago for our annual economic panel. And at that time, stock market was soaring, unemployment was non-existent, the almost, full employment across the boards. Are you surprised that in such a short amount of time, the economy could really be brought to its knees by something like this?
Well, I have to say yes. I mean, this is such an unprecedented, historic event for a worldwide pandemic that we have those. But the way that we've responded, governments around the world have responded, is unprecedented. So yes, I am surprised. But I hope Greg plays the clip where I did say there'd be a correction in the stock market. I just didn't expect it to be as radical and as soon.
You said it's unprecedented, but is it comparable at all to anything that we've seen or that you've seen historically?
Not really. You can go back and talk about the Black Death or things like that, but just in the modern era, no. The Great Depression evolved over a few years. The crash of 2007 and 8, that took months as the banks kind of fell slowly one by one. This has been so sudden. Nothing like it. Nothing like it.
Now, we're recording this on Thursday evening, and there's, I guess, an assumption that by the time this airs, Congress will have passed a $2 trillion economic stimulus package. Checks will be going out directly to households. There'll be opportunities for businesses to access some loans. Do you think that this is going to be enough to save the day in terms of helping individuals and families and businesses stay afloat?
It won't be enough because, one, we don't know how long this is going to last. And the need is so great. I mean, $2 trillion, that's great, but we're a $21 trillion economy, and we've shut down about a third of it. So this will certainly help. It'll hopefully help families bridge a period of time where they still have bills and they get a chance now to get to the other side of this in each region. Businesses may get a liquidity loan, some business interruption loans, and they'll survive, but there will still be severe economic pain throughout the country.
Now, we mentioned in the open that both Minnesota and Wisconsin governors have issued stay-at-home orders. All non-essential businesses are closed. What are the most vulnerable sectors as you look at our local economy right now and what they're possibly facing for weeks, if not months?
Well, in the short run, retail and the tourism industry in Duluth are going to have an awful period of time. It's fortunate in a sense that this is happening in March, April, and May, as opposed to June, July, and August. I mean, if our tourism industry was faced with this then, and I'm assuming it'll be done by, say, June, and if that's wrong, it's just going to get awful. I mean, you have all these restaurants that are closed. I mean, there's zero revenue. Retail, businesses are closed. The mall's closed. There are businesses that will not reopen. That's just all there is to it. There's going to be bars, restaurants that won't reopen just because they don't have the cash reserves to get through maybe a 2-month period of no income.
And that's even with the loans that they're going to have some access to.
I just don't believe those loans will be enough and be fast enough and get allocated in the right places to solve all the problems. They'll certainly solve some. They'll certainly get some businesses through, but there will be some that won't make it.
What about the most resilient sectors in our region?
Government. I mean, the government sector.
There's always money for government, right?
The healthcare sector, though ironically we read in the paper about layoffs at some of our healthcare places because people aren't going to the doctor waiting for this epidemic to hit. So those two industries are solid. Iron ore will start to struggle if the recession gets more severe. I mean, car companies are already closing down for a couple of weeks. That means less demand for steel. That means less demand for our taconite. We really don't have anything other than the healthcare sector and the government sector that's impervious to this.
Mm-hmm. So many people, the new unemployment numbers came out this week. So many new people entering that market right now. Is there a danger that the system could be overwhelmed by all of the new people applying?
That's an excellent question, and I would say give me until Monday to answer that. We're going to have another 3 million applying for unemployment benefits this week. We'll probably have another 2 or 3 million the week after that. If that becomes a backlog, it could be a nightmare. And because we're trying to get payments to people. We're using the unemployment infrastructure, if you call it that, the bureaucratic structure that does unemployment, to deliver a lot of these checks. It better hold up.
Mm-hmm. We talked right off the bat about how quickly this hit our economy. Once people are allowed to go back to work and businesses are allowed to reopen, what do you see as the trajectory for maybe getting things back to some state of normal? Is it going to be a pretty fast rebound?
That's my opinion. The question hinges on how you and I respond. I mean, I'm 68, I have asthma. Even if the governor says I can go out, will I? Will my wife and I go to the other place or Applebee's or something like that? Or will we still be cautious? Will people go out and have a splurge because they've been sitting at home? Or are they still going to be cautious? I think being good Americans, we'll get back to consuming. It'll be different though. Retail's going to be different. Way more people are finding the pleasures of online ordering, and they're going to stick with it. And retail won't bounce back. I don't know how tourism will bounce back. Let's assume in Minnesota this passes in June, July. Well, that gives people in the cities 6 weeks to get up here. And will they want to? It's impossible to know in advance because there's no precedent for this. I tend to be pretty optimistic that American consumers will bounce back, and that drives the economy.
Do you think in some ways the cure here could be worse than the disease itself?
That is a great question to debate. Certainly living here in Duluth, where we've had 3 cases in our county, I believe, there might be a 4th one today. Looking at the economic costs we're incurring, it looks like the costs are greater than the health care benefits. But who knows? In 3 weeks, I might be in the hospital on a ventilator. You know, we don't know. The costs, the problem we have is the healthcare solution and the economic solution couldn't be more opposite. You simply, if you're going to try and flatten out the curve, you have to shut down the economy. If you want to support the economy, you have to allow people to go out and mingle and be in crowds. Our government seems to be making the choice that it's better to take the economic hurt. They're, for the most part, smart people. People are making that decision around the world.
Well, for now, businesses are looking at creative ways to deliver goods and services. People are trying to figure out where they fit in all of this, and we really appreciate you coming out and sharing some of your insights.
Well, and hopefully everyone stays healthy, and hopefully we look back on this in a month or two going, what were we thinking?
All right, let's hope so. Thank you, Tony.
Thank you.